Hey, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. Again, with the first story, another physique update from Big Ramy, this time coming from his friend Coach Booty on Instagram. Also reshared by Ramy on his Instagram story. So Coach Booty has the caption, "New back, inshallah." Last update today. So a couple of things. Number one, obviously, one of the things that we were looking for from Ramy when he started getting these stem cell treatments was to improve the mid to lower lat area, the triceps. Then he had kind of these issues with his quads, these divots, people were calling them, dents in his quads. But I think the back was really one of the biggest issues, considering that was one of the biggest body parts and one of the most noticeable. It seemed like where his lats ended kept getting higher and higher on his back. Now, with this picture, of course, the area that we're really trying to look at is the darkest, most shadowed part of his back, so we can't really tell that much. And if you put this side by side with a picture of Ramy hitting the same pose from the 2022 Mr. Olympia, he's hitting the pose differently here as well. He's leaning back a little bit more, actually a lot more than he was when he hit the back lat spread at the Olympia. So the thing that I was looking at here is his spinal erectors and his lower back. They look a lot more prominent than they did in the Olympia picture, but that's because he's not leaning back at the Olympia and flexing them the same. That's really the main difference that I'm noticing. And again, you can't really see that mid to lower lat area, which is what we were looking at. And I think it's most noticeable in the back double bicep, not the back lat spread. So it's really hard to tell much from this update, but they seem pretty happy about it, and they seem pretty confident that Ramy has made some changes. I mean, they say new back in the caption. But again, I'm just fascinated by the fact that we're getting all these updates from Ramy. This is not typical Big Ramy behavior. We typically don't see, and I talked about this in a prior video, we typically don't see this many updates from Ramy unless he's about to compete. Typically, we don't see anything from Ramy during the course of the year. Then about 6 to 8 weeks out, he starts dropping updates when he's about to compete. So this is really making me wonder if Ramy has a plan to compete that we just don't know about. I know he's not doing either Arnold Classic. I know that much. I really think it's highly unlikely that we're going to see a surprise last-minute Big Ramy entry at the Arnold this year. But for a guy like Ramy that rarely ever posts physique updates, this is like the 5th one now that we've gotten in a couple of months. We've gotten videos, we've gotten pictures. Frankly, we've gotten more than we typically get if he was this far out from the Olympia. And the other thing that really makes this interesting is if he does compete, I want to remind you guys he doesn't have to. If you win the Olympia, you're qualified for any future Olympia for life. He never has to qualify again, so he does not have to compete. That's the bottom line. So if he does, it would be pretty surprising if he does compete prior to the Olympia. And I would imagine if he does, the reason would be to show the judges, this is what I wanted to work on. I've worked on him. I've improved him. Maybe his back looks better. Maybe his legs look better. Maybe his triceps look better. Maybe he wants to give the judges kind of a sneak peek early on before the Olympia and say, look, I'm improving in these areas. Just give me a little bit more time, and when the Olympia comes around, they'll be fixed. He did the Arnold 2023 for that same reason, just to showcase, look, I've been making improvements. I understand what I need to work on, and here's where I'm at so far. So maybe we see Big Ramy on stage a lot sooner than we expected. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This has been a lot of updates from Ramy. Do you think he's going to do a show before the Olympia, a show early on in the 2024 season? And do you think Ramy could successfully ever make a comeback in the sense of regaining his title? Let me know down below. Now, next up in the news, another former Mr. Olympia physique update. Hadi Choopan as he prepares for the 2024 Arnold Classic, just over 2 months out from that show, right around 2 months now, 8 weeks. A really impressive update, a most muscular shot here. I don't think most people would disagree that Hadi is probably strongest in this pose. This might be his best pose. Just the way he hits that most muscular from the front, he just looks like a brick of concrete. He just looks rock hard in that pose. Pause. But just grainy, striated, dense muscle, really well showcased in this pose. I think a lot of people have Hadi as their favorite to win. the 2024 Arnold Classic and Arnold Classic UK. I am surprised he's doing both. And on paper, he is the favorite. Right now, he's the only former Mr. Olympia champion in either lineup. And right now, he's the highest recent Olympia placing on paper in either lineup. And I don't know if that's his son behind him, but if it is, they've got like the exact same eyebrow. And like I said in yesterday's video when we were discussing Samson and the hamstring injury, I don't think it's impossible for Hadi to be beaten by somebody like Samson. But in order for that to happen, Samson would have to be 110%, near perfect conditioning, no injuries, no mistakes, no little flukes, because we know that Hadi's going to come correct. Hadi's not going to be off, and if Hadi's not injured, he's very difficult to beat. Any little slip is where Hadi beats a bigger guy. Any little slip is where Hadi beats a more aesthetic guy. He'll find that little crack, and that's what makes him so dangerous. And what we're seeing here at around 8 weeks out is a big, full, conditioned, hungry Persian wolf in Hadi Choopan. I think the reason that Hadi is doing the Arnold, a show that he's never done before, both Arnolds, is because he wants to remind people who he is. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He lost that Olympia title, and he's angry about it. Make no mistake, he's not happy about losing that Olympia, and he wants to prove a point. He wants to win these Arnolds back-to-back and go into the Olympia with momentum and not people saying, oh, this is going to be the reign of Derek Lunsford. It's over for Hadi. He wants Hadi's name, he wants his name to be on the tip of people's tongues when he comes back to the Olympia later this year. And I think that he's got a good chance of doing that. And it's kind of refreshing with these first two stories. Hadi and Ramy both don't typically post a lot of physique updates, but you can tell they're both guys that recently lost their title. They're both hungry. They're both looking to make a comeback. And it seems like neither one of them is done, and neither one of them is just lying down and giving up. Now, next up in the news, also in Arnold Classic news, I thought this was interesting. The Arnold posted their list for their photo ops in 2024. And I thought it was really cool to see Sam Sulek on that list because he's really the only influencer on that list that doesn't compete or hasn't been at a professional level in his chosen sport. Look at this lineup with Sam Sulek in it. Chris Bumstead, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, and Hafthor Bjornsson. You've got 3 Olympia champions in their respective divisions, a world's strongest man, and then the biggest influencer in fitness on the planet right now. I don't know, maybe not that newsworthy, but I just thought it was an interesting comparison to show how big Sam has really gotten and how well known he really is. To have those 4 guys and then him, I think is pretty impressive. I think it's really telling about how popular of a guy he really is. So shout out to Sam. I like to see stuff like this. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, an update from Regan Grimes. We know that Regan is now over 300 pounds as of his update previous to this one, putting on some size this offseason after a very successful 2023 season. Regan is really back in the conversation now. I mean, I talked about this in the last video, but I feel like after his performance this year, winning show, get to the Olympia, top 10 Olympia placing, he's restored people's confidence in his abilities. And maybe with some growth in this offseason, pun intended, he'll be even more of a factor in 2024. But he has the caption on this post to guess his weight. So I want you guys to guess what Regan is weighing in this picture. Where in the 300s, unless he dipped under 300, is he in this picture? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you guys did, in fact, enjoy it. I hope you guys had a great weekend so far. Like, comment, subscribe, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick, Strength, and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.